It is the Illini Basketball Podcast, episode number 125. Fresh off of the Vegas games, the main event, I guess is what they're calling it, which they've called it the whole time, and now I will call it that as well.
Nice of you to catch on.
Yep, Illinois coming away with a split in Vegas, so I suppose we should probably just get into the Virginia game.
Yeah, I don't think you're mad about a split here. I mean, first, season predictions, we had Illinois losing both of these. I think you had them losing, right? Both games?
Maybe.
You had them beating Virginia, I think, but in the consolation. So
close enough. I was on point almost.
But yeah, this is one of those losses that, it feels okay. They had a chance to win down the stretch. They ended up, kind of fumbling it away. And it's something you're going to learn from. But like we always do, we'll get into the player of the game, our POG. We both went with Jaden Epps for this game. Really good. Got to the basket pretty well. Had some fumbles down the stretch along with some other guys, Terrence Shannon Jr. I think Coleman had a turnover down the stretch. But Jaden Epps, 27 minutes, 6 of 13 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 0 turnovers. So really good handling the ball. He had the ball quite a bit towards the end of the game. Jaden was asked about what he learned from Virginia, and his biggest thing was how hard they hedge on defense. He said that is something that he's really going to learn from. And that's what Virginia does. They play tough defense. Surprisingly, Illinois only had 3 turnovers in the first half of this game. They ended up with 10 in the second half for a total of 13. But, I was really surprised. But I thought Jaden Epps was maybe, the best player, if not the best. I know he's our player of the game. Do you think anybody else could even be up there with him?
Probably not. I will say this. I see a lot of people talking about how they think Epps should be playing over Sky, and I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either.
Sky had a good game, like a low-key good game.
I thought Sky played well. I mean, the thing that with Sky is he's consistent. He only had 2 turnovers. Sky only had 2 turnovers this game. He had 4 the game before. Sky played 22 minutes. He was 2 for 4 from 3, 2 for 2 from the line, 8 points, 4 rebounds, which, 4 rebounds from your 2 point guards is pretty good, especially when you're number 5. And I'm not going to speak ill of Coleman Hawkins because I know we made some guys mad on YouTube. Apparently we blew up on YouTube on the last episode. And I feel like Coleman Hawkins is one of those guys. He's so polarizing that you either love him and you're going to love everything he does, or, you see his flaws and you call him out. And when you call him out, you're really going to make the guys that love him mad. So, but yeah, Sky, I just think Sky's he's too comfortable with the ball to not have him be your point guard. And I feel like he needs to look for his shot more. I feel like he has that step back, but his shot is so pretty. I mean, it comes off his hand well. The step backs that he does, he did get to the lane and kind of fumbled one time, but I just think Sky is always going to be your starting point guard. Now, if you have Epps and him both on the court, I think that's okay. Brad ran some weird lineups in this game, I thought, but Brad does that sometimes. I guess the biggest news was probably how much Terrence Shannon Jr. struggled in this game. Steve's here. Hey, Steve, what's up? Sky Clark needs to become the leader of this team for us to reach our peak. I agree with that, but I don't know if, Brad wants that. I think Brad wants Terrence Shannon Jr. or Coleman Hawkins to be the leader. But I feel like your point guard being your leader is huge. So I do agree to some extent. But back to Terrence Shannon Jr., 36 minutes. I believe that he played the most of anybody. 4 of 10 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. So not 8 of 9 like he was last time. He got open looks. He got good shots. They just weren't falling. Sometimes that happens. He was 0 for 2 from the free throw line, so his free throws are really slacking lately. The last 2 games at least. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal. He had 6 turnovers, and after starting the first 3 games without a foul, he had 2 last game, and he fouls out of this game. So it seemed like UCLA was kind of getting, when they drove to the basket, they were getting the calls, and when Illinois drove to the basket, they weren't. I'm not going to blame the refs for this game. I don't think the refs, made that big a difference. Sky Clark closing out on that 3 on Vanderplas hurt. I don't know if that was a foul. I think I texted you 64 times. They should call him Vanderflop. So I guess
I think it was a foul.
That's my new nickname. Yeah, I think he might have cut under him. And then I think the other questionable call was the hook and hold that they didn't even review.
That made no sense to me.
I know Meyer sold it really hard, but I don't think that's a reason not to go look at it.
Yeah.
But
that's pretty much
big plays that down the stretch that could have changed the game, I think.
On the broadcast, they were pretty much saying that the refs pretty much, he sold it or he flopped, so we're not going to review it, which if you watch the replay, it was a hook and hold by rule. So yeah, I don't understand why they didn't do that.
I feel like that's something that you have to look at, right? I don't understand how that's not something you look at.
Yeah, you would think so. I don't know. I mean,
I've seen them look at hook and holds that aren't hook and holds when, so it just seems weird. I felt like Terrence Shannon Jr. and Epps down the stretch kind of both tried to play their own game. I listened to the press conference afterwards, and Coleman Hawkins was talking, and he said something like, "We just tried to hit home runs," and I felt like that was fairly true, especially with Terrence Shannon Jr. and Epps. Brad said that they were supposed to run a play out of a timeout, and Epps ended up just trying to take the ball himself. And he said, that's just something that they need to learn from. Epps, he said that Epps was, the best guy on the court in high school, and now he's not. And he's just got to kind of realize that you got to involve your team. They kind of went away from what they're good at in moving the ball and went into kind of, let me try to take this game over. So I think that was a big part of it. I thought it was interesting. Brad said of Terrence Shannon Jr. after the game, he said, quote, "Good players don't have off nights in big games. You hardly ever see that. He needs to accept that role and become that guy for us." So,
I mean, that is a ridiculous thing to say.
I thought it was good. I mean,
out of this world ridiculous. Because number one, how about you say great players? Because good players have off nights all the time in big games.
True. True.
And I think he defines Coleman Hawkins. I don't give an F about the YouTube comments. I hope they keep coming after us. Coleman Hawkins, literally, if he's defined as a good player, he has off nights in big games.
He's a great player.
1 out of every 3.
According to 90%
I think that's
of
probably
YouTube fandom.
That is very bizarre that people feel that way. But I think it's like a thing where, like, you're not even watching him defend, or you're not, paying attention to him defending. But since everybody else is saying how great of a defender he was in this game, everyone's just going to jump on that train. And I'd like to watch it again to see how it really was, but I feel like we're overdoing that entire thing.
Yeah. Zachary says, inexcusable Underwood doesn't call any sets in the final 2 possessions. Epps hero ball, isn't it? I don't know if you just heard me, if you just came in, but he did call a play. He said that he called a play, and Epps decided to take it on himself to win the game, or try to win the game, or play hero ball. Underwood said that he called a set play. So, and he said that like I said, it's a learning moment. So hopefully they will learn from that. Steve says the last 3 minutes is why Sky needs to run the team. I agree. That's why you have a point guard, right? That's why you want a point guard. I know that, there's this theory out there that everybody on Illinois can handle the ball. I'm just gonna be blunt. Terrence Shannon Jr. is not the greatest ball handler, especially when he has a guy like Beekman on him that's gonna poke and prod and do everything else. Coleman Hawkins, not the greatest ball handler. RJ Melendez, not the greatest ball handler. You need a guard to
Well,
help set up your plays.
they're all capable of dribbling the basketball. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think they
I
do
can
it
dribble
well.
a basketball though.
Well, I'll say this. Epps is the size of a point guard, but he's much more of a shooting guard to me. Like if you watch
I agree.
in rhythm, him able to shoot those threes that he made, that's in rhythm. That's not really off the bounce type of stuff. Move the ball around the perimeter, find the open shooter. Since you watch the way that Virginia defended, Epps said it himself. You're getting open looks in some of those spots, and they're hedging, too far off. They did that multiple times, and I think Illinois didn't take advantage of that. I think I'm not going to blame this game on Brad. But I will say I think there's a bit of a difference between Tony Bennett having a day to prepare for a team and Brad Underwood having a day to prepare for a team.
Well, and that's why I texted you at halftime and I said, does Bennett outcoach Underwood in the second half? I don't know if he outcoached him particularly, but I felt like Virginia was definitely the more aggressive team.
He outworked the refs over.
And I think Kie Clark was a bit, you could tell he started pressuring Sky Clark. That was probably a charge on that one play. I think Kie Clark probably fouled him 3 times before that, but I don't think that Brad got out coached this game. I think that his guys tried to take over the game and not listen to what the coach was saying.
Virginia always plays defense like this, and I think he could have come up with a better plan. To score against that, but are they going to execute?
That's true. Because I think that Bennett did have a better scoring plan execution. He started going baseline and screens from the baseline. It got Franklin open a bunch. It got Beekman open a bunch, and 10 turnovers and a lot of runouts. So Coleman, I said I wasn't going to talk ill of him. We're really not going in order or anything, but 30 minutes for Coleman, 4 for 9, 2 of 5 from 3, missed his first 3, kept shooting. Glad he got those other ones to go down. He had a nice move in the paint, 10 points. This is what I'm going to complain about. 1 rebound. 1. Coleman Hawkins. I said it in the last podcast about the UCLA game. Coleman Hawkins needs to be a 15-10 guy. I don't care if he's a 5-10 guy. Coleman Hawkins needs to be pulling down 10 rebounds a game. If he's going to be our 5 and he's such a great defender, you get a rebound too. Again, I thought Coleman had a good game. I have no ill will against Coleman this game, except for the 1 rebound. He did have 2 blocks or 3 blocks, and he had 3 turnovers, but everybody that's not, Epps or Sky all had 3 to 6 turnovers. So Meyer, yeah. And I am going to say this. The only thing that kind of annoys me about Coleman Hawkins is when he makes a 3 and you're still down 2, just run down the court, man. Just run down the court. So
was that quote that I saw on Twitter real where he said our freshmen can't be freshmen?
Yeah.
That is so ridiculous. Like our juniors can't be freshmen either, Coleman. Your thoughts? I mean, it's absurd to act like the freshmen are probably as a group the biggest reason that they went 1-1 in Vegas. Sincere Harris in the first game. Now, Shannon obviously is the biggest reason for that game. But Sky Clark played really well, I thought, in both games. Especially this game. Epps was great in this game. Ty Rodgers, I think he's still trying to figure out his role.
Ty Rodgers was, he's kind of been a question mark. I mean, I know he plays hard, but I don't think he gives you much on offense.
I don't think we really expected him to, though.
But I mean, like assists, things like that.
Yeah. He'll probably have a double-double against Lindenwood, now that we're talking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Lindenwood. Crypto says, I think they just haven't established who the go-to guy is yet.
Do they need to?
That's the thing is Illinois is better when they don't have a go-to guy. They're better when they move the ball and it's not one-on-one or hero ball or whatever you want to call it.
IO ball, which worked, by the way.
Because IO was the guy.
Yeah.
I just feel like this team's built different. And I think the guys know that too. I think they understood after the game I mean, Coleman Hawkins, for as much crap as I give him, there's no doubt in my mind he has a great basketball IQ. He speaks well about the game, and he kind of understands it probably more than anybody else on this team. Execution sometimes lacks, but Matthew Meyer, 23 minutes, 2 for 7, 0 for 2 from 3, 4 points, 4 rebounds. He's still taking shots that you kind of wonder why. He had that one down low where he got didn't even have a chance against Cafaro. Tried to hit that. He had a layup, but and it ended up with Beekman running down the court and slamming one down. But Meyer is a guy that's going to go out and try to score buckets. Brad said in the post game that he sat Meyer too long because Meyer's a guy that can go out and score. So I like it. I think that ball movement's good with Meyer, except when he decides that he's just going to pull up, green light, But he said that he should have sat Danger more and played Meyer more because the ball was moving better when Meyer and Coleman and those guys were in the game than when Danger was in the game.
They also have no clue how to use Danger or get him the ball. That's a problem.
Yeah, and that's and to the guys on YouTube that call this out, I understand that Coleman Hawkins can throw an entry pass into Danger, but 3 times a game doesn't matter that much. I guess 6 points is 6 points, but Steve says they don't need a go-to guy. They need a guy to run the offense.
This comment is on the money.
Yes.
Because let's think of teams that have been successful, especially in March the last few years. Kansas, did they really have a go-to guy? I know Agbaji was their big scorer, but they could use McCormick. They could use their guards. They could use Agbaji last year. North Carolina, same thing. I know Caleb Love wanted to be the guy and literally shoots way too much, but they also had R.J. Davis make big shots. They had Baycott. They had Manick. Mm-hmm. Those are the types of teams that win down the stretch. It's not the teams with the 1 or 2 All-Americans, which we've seen Illinois have. 2 years ago, they had 2 All-Americans, and they didn't go anywhere in March as a 1 seed. So
Zach says that's 2 games in a row Brad has admitted to mismanaging minutes. What coach on the bench is managing the rotation? You're not wrong. Like I said, he forgot Sincere was there. I think he might have forgot Sincere was there the second half this game. So I'm pretty sure he didn't get put in until the last 50 seconds.
I think maybe he's trying to get used to the fact that he actually has 9 playable players.
Yeah, he's got to go 9 deep.
But also when Luke Goody is back, Luke Goody has to play. Like Luke Goody absolutely has to play. Yeah. And I think the guy who's going to lose the most minutes if things stay similar to when Goody is back is going to be Rogers.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But Luke Goody has to play. I think Luke Goody would be. I mean, I could also see if RJ keeps, on this trajectory, maybe Goody takes his minutes. But
RJ had 27 minutes, so it might be the most minutes he's played this year.
I'll check.
He was 3 for 7, 2 of 4 from 3. He had a steal and 2 turnovers. Again, he tries to go to the hoop, and it hasn't been successful yet this year. But it's all learning. I wrote this down, and it's probably gonna piss some people off. I did go back and watch that play where RJ got taken out and got his ass chewed. He was standing at the other end of the court while all the other guys ran down the court, so deservedly so, I guess. I felt like there was a point in this game where he was trying to switch with Coleman because he was on like Cafaro or something, and Coleman wouldn't switch. And then Coleman gets scored on and then turns around and yells at RJ. I feel like RJ gets like the brunt of not only Brad, but Coleman too. So I don't know if there's something there. I hope they get along, and I'm not trying to say they don't. So don't say that I'm, starting drama on the team. But RJ, he wasn't bad. I mean, he didn't have a bad game. He had the defense is kind of, I just feel like he's the one that gets out of place on defense, or he's the one that everybody says gets out of place on defense. I don't see it as much as them. But again, I don't know exactly how Illinois' defense is supposed to be. Brad hasn't called me and said, "Hey, dumbass, this is what we're supposed to do." That's why I yell at RJ all the time. So
maybe he's just taking out the fact that he's pissed that Goody is hurt.
I now believe Underwood was serious about losing a starter in Goody. Yeah, I said that after the first game when Illinois went 3 of 37 from 3. So Danger, we talked about him a little bit. Talk about him a little bit more. 18 minutes, 2 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. The one he made was to put Illinois up 58-56 or 58-56, I think. And then Virginia went on a 13-point run. 6 rebounds and a steal, 5 points. I felt like Dane Danger finally found out what it was like to play real bigs. Between Caden Shedrick and Francisco Cafaro, a 6'11", 7'1" duo. I felt like Illinois struggled to get him the ball first, but when he did get the ball, he did have some nice moves. He missed a little baby hook towards the end, which I thought was kind of out of control. Brad said it was a good look, good shot, just didn't fall. So, again, he's the head coach at Illinois. I'm just some guy that talks on the internet. So,
Right.
I think Dane Danger's first touch, and I think I texted you during the game, was with 2 minutes to go in the first half, which was shocking to me. So, but yeah, we're gonna have to see how he does against the bigs, the big bigs, and Illinois switching on defense, and I guess. I don't know why I just keep bringing it up because I read the comments, but YouTube, there was one guy that said, Jaquez, really dominated the game, 8 for 22 against Coleman Hawkins. Illinois switches all the time. Coleman Hawkins didn't guard him for 38 minutes of the game, dude. All right.
And he made some huge shots when UCLA was leading. So it's like, he was 8 for 22, but I feel like, he made some big shots.
Need more scoring from others besides Shannon Jr. He's not putting up 25 to 30 every game. Yes, I agree. I think the defense can keep him in the games. The thing is, Terrence Shannon Jr. had 9 points this game, and Illinois still had a chance to win it. So that's got to be a great takeaway in itself. Rogers and Harris, we talked about them a little bit. They played 8 and 9 minutes apiece. I consider them maybe 2 of the best defenders on the team, minus Coleman Hawkins. And I maybe Ty Rogers just didn't play that good at defense in this game. I told you Illinois probably wasn't going to press. I don't think they pressed much this game. Illinois press, maybe picking up full court a little bit, but it wasn't like what they did against UCLA in the second half. So, Sincere ended with 3 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, and a block. Rogers had 3 rebounds and 2 fouls. So,
what's interesting to me? Ty Rogers played 23 minutes against Eastern, 21 minutes against Kansas City, 28 minutes against Monmouth. And then they go to Vegas. He plays 7 against UCLA and 8 against Virginia. That feels like a significant drop-off.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't know the reasons for that. He obviously had a lot more rebounding prowess in the first 3 games. I thought he rebounded well in this game, given the fact he had 3 rebounds in 8 minutes. That works. He does foul a lot, I guess. I mean, if you look at the numbers, he's getting a couple fouls every game. But it's, I think there's a reason why he's losing minutes. I think the other freshmen are taking minutes away from him a little bit.
And I think that I feel right now he's a liability on offense. He tries to take it to the hoop and he throws it away or does things like that. I just feel like he's too much of a I don't feel like his defense is good enough to make up for his liability on offense. Which I think that he'll get there. I mean, he's really good when he's looking to pass, and he's really good around the basket. He's not big enough to play the 5. And some of those times he's coming in, he's playing the point guard too. So that kind of makes a difference. Jay says, need more from Meyer. Averaging 6 a game isn't going to cut it. Need about 10 to 12 from him. Fair. Not going to disagree with that. Meyer, but like I said, Meyer probably needed to play more down the stretch. Brad said they needed to play more down the stretch. So if he's not in, he can't score, I guess. It's not like he shot the ball bad this game. So other notes and quotes we got here coming up for you. I already talked about some of this stuff, but Illinois took that 2-point lead with 3:27 left. And I just wrote down, what Virginia did on their 13-0 run. And that was over the next 3 minutes and 12 seconds. So Illinois didn't score again until the 15-second mark when Sky made that three. During that stretch, Illinois had 3 turnovers. 2 was Terrence Shannon Jr., 1 was Coleman Hawkins. They went 0 for 5. Terrence Shannon Jr. missed a 3. Epps missed 2 shots. Like we said before, Epps felt like he needed to take over the game and didn't. And then Danger missed 2 shots. So, just lack of finishing. And that's kind of the big thing. Brad said about this game that this was a great learning experience. He thought Illinois' defense was good. So it's just trying to figure that out with these guys. The foul differential was pretty big in this game. Other than that, all the stats are pretty similar, but Illinois shot 9 free throws while Virginia shot 32. Virginia was plus 21 from the free throw line. And Illinois, they were within a basket of winning this game. So, I know they wasn't at 9-point deficit, but at one point or down the stretch, they could have been. So, yeah, the other stats, 37-34 on rebounds. I thought Illinois got out-rebounded this whole game. So I was actually shocked this was only three difference. But Virginia won that by 3. Illinois led assists 11-10. Virginia led steals 8-5. Illinois led blocks 4-2. And Illinois had 13 turnovers and Virginia had 12. So fairly similar game except for the charity stripe.
Which Illinois can't make free throws anyway. So if they had 32 free throws, they probably would have made like 14.
Yeah. And then I just got some quotes from Brad to finish this up. Brad said, quote, "I thought defensively both teams really dialed in. Both sides forced each other into some adjustments. I was excited for the learning curve today." So I feel like that was pretty right. You almost perfectly guessed this game. What did you say? 73-68 or something? Something like that. So
somewhere in that, yeah.
You were close. And then he was asked what he learned from the tournament. And Brad said, quote, "We are pretty good. We are going to be really good. Not even close to our ceiling." I think he told the guys in the locker room, they posted a thing today that this team is going to be great. So take that into account. And, it would have been nice to take that belt home, but it's okay to lose this game. They learned a lot. Brad said, quote, "You barely ever hear me happy after a loss, but I am in a fairly good place." So Brad was okay with it. I think Illinois was okay with it. Did it suck to lose, being out there in Vegas? And then you had to sit there and watch UCLA and Baylor play. Yeah, it did. And everybody from, I'd say 95% of the Illinois fan base left after the game. So no college hoops for Illinois fans.
Interesting move. Interesting. Did you know that Sky Clark is shooting 100% from the free throw line?
I'm not shocked.
How about that,
dude?
stat?
His shot is so pretty. Like it might be one of the prettiest shots I've ever seen.
Let me just run down.
And he's got to look for it. I wish he would just look for it more. He took 4 shots this game. They were all from 3.
Epps is stealing all the shots.
Epps is getting to the basket. You can't complain about what Epps is doing. He's getting to the hoop. So
free throw percentages.
Stretch, but
Terrence Shannon Jr. 70. Got to be better. Dane Danger 43.
And he was probably 90% going into Vegas.
Probably around 85, yeah, somewhere in that area. Dane Danger, 43% expected. Probably a little bit better than this, though, eventually, I would think.
Yeah.
Coleman Hawkins,
As
63%.
long as he keeps making the front end, I think we're okay.
Yeah. Coleman Hawkins, 63%. Not too bad. I mean, 7 for 11 sounds better than 63%.
Yeah.
Sincere Harris was maybe the worst. Him and Ty Rogers, really, they're both 1 for 6 from the free throw line.
Which is crazy because I think Sincere's shooting 50% behind the arc. So
yeah, he is shooting 5 for 10 from 3. But they're both shooting 16%. Sincere just goes like this and sees what happens.
Yeah.
And then Ty Rogers.
His shot from 3 is really pretty. But his free throws look funny. I don't know. There's something about it.
Jaden Epps, 83%. He's only missed 1. Sky Clark, 100%. RJ, 80%. He's only missed 1. Myers, 75%. He's only missed 1. So pretty clear that the fact that they have a 24 combined missed free throws from Hawkins, Danger, and Shannon, that's hurting. Everybody else, other than Harris and Rogers being 2 for 12. Outside of that, Sky, Epps, Melendez, Meyer have combined for 3 misses. So it's clearly not. I think it's a team issue, but I don't think it's like as many players as we think. Like I feel like the fact that it's only like 5 players, I feel like it's more like 7 with how bad they've been.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the only one you expect to maybe shoot. I mean, Coleman should probably shoot better from the line, and Sincere, I think are the only. I mean, Ty, you've seen his shot. Taryn, what's he at? 68?
70.
70. Yeah,
I'd like it to be a little higher
80.
than that. Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Well, he's also shooting 61% from inside the arc and 48% from 3.
Jay says Vanderflop, 0 for 3 from the field, 10 rebounds, 8 of 9 from the line. Wow. Yeah. If you read Ethan's he's writing for Shy City Sports.
Yep.
Is that right? .com. So he puts out like a post game, and Vanderplas was one of his 3 studs. So he does 3 studs.
He had a huge impact on the game.
Yeah, it felt like he was getting every rebound under the 5-minute mark.
And he was making all the free throws.
And he was hook and holding, so.
Yep. And he was falling down after missing a 3. So
the big center, what's his name again?
Cedric.
Yeah, he decided to elbow our point guard in the mouth within the first 2 minutes, and
that was pretty good.
Then Vanderflop tried to take off Meyer's arm. So.
Well, what Frischilla said on the broadcast with the elbow is like he's got to learn, like when you're playing a team like Illinois that switches a lot, you're gonna have guards on you. You got to be careful with the elbows there, son. That's pretty much what he said.
Well, I think he threw somebody down before that too, if I remember right. But.
Yeah, he's a scumbag. Anyway, seeing if Louisville can get to 30 points. There you go. 31 points with 4 minutes left in the second half. Brilliant. But I think Vanderplas, that's one of the most impactful performances from a guy that didn't make a shot that you're going to see.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's like something that I could see Sincere doing somewhere in the season is like scoring 0 points, but having like 5 steals,
5 steals,
that type of stuff.
8 assists or something crazy. Yeah.
All right. Illinois, Lindenwood, bit of a step down in competition. This is Lindenwood's first year as a Division I school. I know their hockey team beat somebody that they shouldn't have beat. I can't remember who. It was maybe like Michigan or Minnesota. But anyway, Illinois coming in 4-1. They go up to 16 in the AP top 25. We say it all the time on this show. That poll does not matter. There's a bunch of morons voting for that. Number one. Number 2.
What Baylor dropped 2 spots?
I
think they're at 7. Were they at 5?
Yeah, I
told you we needed UCLA to win that game. I was cheering for them. We needed all the Illinois fans to stay and root for UCLA.
A reputation thing for Baylor. That's why they only dropped a couple spots, and they were also way higher ranked. But what were they? Were they 5?
Baylor, I think, was 5. Yeah,
and they're now 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then UCLA went to what, 8-19, and then Virginia went 16-5.
Yeah.
So Illinois had the smallest move, but that's, or I guess the second smallest move other than Baylor. But whatever. 4-1 on the season. Lindenwood's 2-4. They do play tomorrow against Idaho State, which is on paper a game they should win. I don't know if they will. This is Friday night, 8 p.m. So while everything else is going on, you got to watch this on Big Ten Plus. there's actual good sports going on Fridays. So then we have to watch Illinois commit murder on television against Lindenwood. So, yeah, this is a step down in competition. It'll ramp back up, I suppose, if you think Syracuse is ramping it back up. Syracuse is not good. But then they go to Maryland, which looks like a tougher game by the day. And then the Jimmy V Classic with Texas, who's number 4 now, coming up in early December.
Zach says the media is too proud to admit they underrank anyone. Yeah, I think North Carolina is a big sign of that.
I think they're stupid also. But would be my thoughts. I mean, there's a guy.
I saw somebody on Twitter getting into it with somebody else about how North Carolina hasn't lost, so you can't move them down. Like, it's the beginning of the season. They had nothing to base it off of. Now they do.
They had to base it off of the fact that they were a bad team until March last year, and then they made it to the national championship game.
Yep.
And, they lost Larry Bird. I mean, if a team loses Larry Bird, you're going to take a bit of a step back.
That's true.
Anyway, Lindenwood, like I said, 2-4. They lost to Dayton by 27. They lost to Mizzou, an old friend, by 29. They lost to Lamar, who's number 358 on KenPom, by 2. They lost to Western Carolina in overtime, who's number 266 on KenPom, by 2. They beat a school named Hannibal LaGrange, not a D1 school. They beat them by 27. And they beat McNeese State.
Hannibal a few times.
There you go. They beat McNeese State, who's number 351 on KenPom, by 18. So first season in D1, they're in the OVC. This is Illinois. Illinois, like the size advantage in terms of height is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like Lindenwood's tallest player is 6'9", and he's played less than 10 minutes in every game except for one.
Yeesh.
So, yeah, here's their lineup. Kevin Caldwell, point guard, 5'11", 20 points, 9 assists versus Western Carolina. Then they have Chris Childs, who's 6'2" guard. He was the leading scorer this season. Nice name. Brandon Trimble, 6'2" guard. I don't know what to put here is what I wrote for him. Nothing really special there. They have David Ware, 6'5", who I would assume is a guard, but I feel like he's not going to be able to play like a guard in this game. So
yeah.
He's shooting 75% from 3 for 4. Pretty nice. Pretty big sample size. And then the guy that's starting at the 5 for them is Cam Burrell, who's 6'7".
6'7" center. Forward.
They think they're the Warriors, I think, would be their, like Draymond Green playing the 5. He had 24.7 rebounds against Western Carolina. So, I mean, if Illinois can't run the floor and Dane Danger can't drop 25 in this game, I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know? KenPom numbers, Illinois 36th in adjusted offense. Lindenwood is 332nd. Adjusted defensive efficiency, Illinois 16th, which is one of Underwood's best numbers in Illinois other than 2021. Lindenwood's 339th. And then adjusted tempo, Illinois, once again, this is Underwood's best adjusted tempo team at Illinois and his entire career to this point. 13th right now. I think the only closest one at Illinois was like 52 in tempo, and that was like 2018. So that was like early first Underwood first season, I think, at Illinois when they were terrible. And then Lindenwood's 127. So they'll get out and run a little bit, probably because they have a bunch of small guards.
Yeah, what else would they do? It's not like
they're going to have to do what Monmouth did to Illinois.
Slow it down.
Players to watch.
Oh, players to watch. Here we go. I'm going to go with Dane Danger. You said it. Their biggest guy's 6'7". So I hope he throws his inner thighs on somebody's face. And then I'm going to go with Kevin Caldwell, 5'11" guard. I'd like to see Coleman Hawkins get put on him a few times so he can get a few blocks. And I will say this. We were at the UCLA game. Jay Neps is guarding a guy because Illinois switches everything, and I can't remember who he's guarding. It had to be like Bona or somebody, and I'm screaming, help him! He's 5'6", being sarcastic, whatever. And the guy next to me goes, "Oh, he's 6'2". Like, yeah, well, that guy's 6'11", so 6'2" really don't matter, does it, buddy? All right. Anyway.
So what you're saying is that Illinois fans are stupid.
Some of them.
I very much agree. I think it's more than some of them as well. But anyway,
we might be in that category though. So
we probably are. I'm going to go Terrence Shannon Jr. I just think following up, a lackluster performance, just get that confidence back, start making some shots. I mean, he can do a flyby with any of these guys. So I think he's going to get to the rim easily. I think he'll probably shoot 12 to 15 free throws in this game, if not more. And hopefully he makes more of them. And then I'm going to go with Cam Burrell, who is going to be tasked with being a 6'7" guy playing the 5.
Yeah.
Against a team with.
I'd like to see Coleman, play work the 5 more in the post too in this game.
This is like RJ Melendez
playing the 5. Like I said, he did have a nice little jump back in the lane. I mean, it wasn't really a post up move, but I like to see him, work as the 5 a little bit more. But
yeah,
I know he's not a true 5. Don't come at me. I know he's not a true 5. Okay.
If you want to watch Lindenwood basketball, or if you want to compare it, just have RJ Melendez play the 5, because that's what this pretty much is. So, he's going to have some issues, I think, on the defensive end, but we'll see. Predictions.
Yeah, I think Illinois is putting up a hundo, 105-52. Thanks for coming out, Lindenwood. Everybody go get your $10 tickets. I think they went on sale today. You can go watch Illinois spank are they D1? D1 team.
They are, yeah. I'm going to switch mine now. I'm going to say 108-48. I think it's going to be even worse. Right. I'm going to say Illinois wins by 60, which would be they beat St. Francis, PA by 57 last season. I think they'll outdo that.
Live updates.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say 60-point win, and I'm going to say Terrence Shannon has 30. I'm going to say Dane Danger has 25. I'm going to say one of the freshmen has 20. So, and I'm going to say Coleman Hawkins might even have like 15 points, and he heard you talking about rebounding. He might have 12.
If he doesn't get 10 rebounds against 6'7", I'm going to be mad.
Well, They switch a lot, so he's not always going to be rebounding over the 6'7" guy. It could be over one of the other guys. I mean, he shut Hawkins down 1 versus 1 the whole time. They were playing against each other the entire time. Anyway, around the Big Ten real quick here. The Big Ten, a lot of people talking about it, how everybody was quote-unquote wrong about the Big Ten, which I thought these determinations were made in March about whether we were wrong or right about a conference. I didn't know we were doing it in November.
It doesn't matter, though.
Do you view any of the 6 Big Ten teams as an actual threat to get to the Final Four? Because I don't. Illinois. Maybe Illinois with their ceiling, and that just sounds biased if we say that, but I think that's what most people are saying.
I agree.
Indiana is like Elite 8 ceiling, maybe if they.
Well, I thought it was funny. I did see a comment on Twitter. I'm on Twitter too much. Somebody said, not overranked, but just overhyped like usual or whatever. And somebody made a great comment. They said they don't have a team and they won't make it to a Final Four or something. They're like, well, they don't have a team in the top 10. So technically they don't have a Final Four caliber team.
Well, the AP poll doesn't really determine.
But I'm just saying, I understand that. But I mean, to be like, oh, nobody will make the Final Four. Well, the best team's number 11 right now. So it's.
Yeah, Indiana 11, Michigan State is 12th, Illinois 16th, Maryland 23rd, Purdue 24th, Iowa 25th.
What happened to Michigan? I thought they were ranked.
Yeah, dang. Unfortunate. They got destroyed by Arizona State, and then they probably should have lost to Ohio.
Almost beat them.
Yeah, they got to figure some things out. It's pretty much Dickinson versus the world, and they can't really defend it like they could the last couple. I'm sure they'll be fine. But anyway, Maryland's been impressive. They played Miami and somebody else that I'm forgetting. Jesus. Miami, and who else did they beat? Anyway, I don't really think Maryland's going to be, that great at the end of the season. I feel like they played Miami and St. Louis. Those are impressive wins, possible tournament teams, and they beat them up.
You think St. Louis is amazing. So.
I'm not that high on them this year like I usually am, but whatever. Go ahead. Michigan State, obviously impressive with that schedule. I mean, Villanova almost came back and beat them in that game, but they did beat Villanova. The Kentucky win is good, but it's also like Shibwe was fouled out. Kentucky's been super unimpressive. Like, I don't think Calipari is even coaching them. Like, the way that they run that team makes no sense. And damn, what a shame that Antigua and Chin Coleman had to leave. Oh, man. Such a shame, guys. You couldn't even get out of the first round last season.
Yeah.
Dang.
That was probably your biggest complaint about the AP, right? Is that Kentucky was ranked better
Yeah.
than Illinois.
Ridiculous. I mean, Kentucky, I don't care who they played. They've looked like absolute dog bleep, and they haven't shot the ball well against anybody except for their terrible opponents that they've faced. So I'm not buying into this team at all, and I think Michigan will beat them on December 4th. You heard it here first. Anyway,
Okay.
biggest games of the week in the Big Ten you got coming up in 30 minutes, while Louisville's not even going to get to 40 points against Texas Tech. They're at 37, which is pretty impressive given where they were when we started this podcast. They were at 13, but they're starting to turn it up now. They might even come back and win this thing. Ohio State, Cincinnati is coming up in Maui. Ohio State didn't look great against San Diego State.
San Diego State's really good.
Yeah, but San Diego State's defense stinks. So if you're going to take advantage, like early in the season right now, it's not what it should be. So if you're going to take advantage, then the time is now.
Steve says Rutgers will surprise people at the end of the year. I feel like Rutgers has been on that train for a while.
That's something that I always love to
get
pull out. I
better.
like to be like, "Hey, Rutgers is good. Don't sleep on them." But I don't know.
Then
about
Illinois
this
gets
year.
beat by them every year.
Their offense is bad. Defensively, they've been good, but they also lost to Temple. That's an ugly loss, and they don't have Gio and Ron Harper Jr. to fall back on. But they do have some good players. They just got to get healthy. Like McConnell hasn't really played very much, so if at all, I don't even think he's played. So yeah. Anyway, then you have Dayton and Wisconsin tomorrow, 1:30 Battle for Atlantis. That'll be an interesting game. Dayton's pretty good, A-10 squad. Purdue, West Virginia, Thursday night. The Phil Knight Legacy Classic, whatever. They're playing West Virginia. I don't know who's going to win that game.
How's West Virginia this year?
Not really good. I mean, pretty much, I would say last season was.
Well, they stomped on Pittsburgh. You know, that was a big win for Michigan. They really haven't played anybody.
No,
St. Mary's, Pittsburgh, Morehead State, and Penn.
They got Joe Toussaint, old Iowa friend of the Big Ten, right?
We're going to find out if they're any good. They're going to play 24 ranked Purdue and Zach Edey.
They got Trey Mitchell. Remember him? He almost came to Illinois, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's at Texas last season. They got some transfers in there, but they also lost some
players.
players.
Trey Mitchell is at West Virginia now?
Yeah. Yep.
Is he playing this year? Because that seems illegal.
Yep, he is.
Did his dad get UMass, a new job? Or his stepdad? Or whatever?
UMass, Texas, West Virginia. But they did lose Jalen Bridges to Baylor, and they lost Sean McNeil to – is Sean McNeil at Ohio State? White kid that can shoot. Did Ohio State have one of them?
I think so.
I think he's at Ohio
Don't
State.
They always have one of them?
Yep, he's at Ohio State. Yep, absolutely. They had lefty. What's his name?
Aarons.
Yeah, Justin Aarons. Alabama, Michigan State, Phil Knight Legacy, 9:30 p.m. on Thanksgiving night. Interesting game here. I think Michigan State loses this game because I think when they start to actually have a target on their back and teams view them as a serious threat, they're going to get taken down.
Evan says yes. I don't know what he's saying yes
to.
I
agree. I think he's saying yes to
oh, yeah. What you were saying.
Exactly.
Sure.
Iowa versus Clemson, 6 p.m. Friday, Emerald Coast Classic. So I don't think Clemson's any good, but I figured power versus power conference-wise, so
yeah,
toss them on there.
Why not?
And then obviously Illinois Lindenwood, maybe the game of the week in the Big Ten.
Game of the week.
All right.
Better win by 60.
Yep. I would hope so, or else I would honestly be willing to get rid of Underwood and maybe even throw him on the thin ice. Underwood. Thin ice! So there you go.
You look like a 2-year-old.
I look like a young fellow.
Most surprising team start to the season, good or bad?
In the Big Ten or in the country?
We got to do Big Ten.
In the Big Ten, I would say surprising good has to be Maryland, right?
Yeah.
I would say surprising bad is probably Michigan, nobody has a bad record. So I guess, Michigan would be in that conversation. I would also say I don't know. I don't think I can even think of anybody else because I was going to be like Minnesota, but also Minnesota didn't have any expectations.
Yeah. I think Michigan State, just because nobody thought they were going to be like competing against high level teams. So both, he says both Give them your NCAA too.
In the country, surprising good. Probably Texas being as good as they are already. I thought they would be good, but they're like number 1 in KenPom in the best defense in the country.
Yeah.
But also I would shout out the that other team that I was thinking of off the top of my head. Why has Tennessee only played 3 games? Surprising bad. I mean, it's hard to not just be like Syracuse or like I don't think anybody really thought Syracuse should be good, but they're just so bad. Defensively, especially, they're horrible. But I'll go Villanova as my surprising bad, just because they lost to Temple. They 0-2 on the road, 2-0 at home. Yeah,
sounds like Temple's beating a lot of people.
Temple is a school. They
play basketball there.
They lost to Wagner. They beat Villanova. They lost to Vanderbilt. They beat Rutgers. They lost to St. John's. Loss, win, loss, win, loss.
Yeah.
So they're going to beat Richmond tonight. So throw some money on Temple to beat Richmond. There you go.
There you go.
All right.
The bet of the night.
That is going to do it for us. We will return at a later date. When's the next game after Lindenwood? Is it Syracuse
right?
Tuesday? Yeah.
Syracuse Tuesday.
And we were going to do a watch party for that if we can. So
yeah. Let's do Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, I agree. We'll figure it out for that.
Because I'm busy Saturday probably. So
all right, we will see everybody after the Lindenwood game. Then we'll preview Syracuse. We'll see you next time for episode number 126. Goodbye.
Later.